Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of VAFA Tragics. Round 6 is done. We're a third of the way through the season. It's a great time to pull up stumps and have a review of what happened on the weekend as I welcome Brenton Mann. Brenton, what did you take away? We're a third of the way through the VAFA season. Can you believe it already?
No, I cannot. It's flown by. What a great weekend of football as well. Excellent weather, excellent games, and Premier, it's up for grabs at the moment.
Makes it interesting, particularly in William Buck Premier. We'll have a look at that in just a moment as we welcome Marty Kelleher. Marty, nice to be out in the sunshine on the weekend.
It was actually. Got a bit of a
I hope you put some sunscreen on there.
I did, yeah. It was lovely down at Mornington there at Peninsula, so that was lovely down there.
Michael Fitzgerald, where were you on the weekend having a look at which game?
I was at Toorak Park. It was a beautiful day in the neighbourhood, all over Melbourne really. Fantastic day for footy and once again some very interesting results that cast doubt on the ability of all tipsters.
It's a fantastic section, the William Buck Premier section this year. Again, with sides below those above them getting wins on the weekend. One of those was Collegians at the Harry Trot over St Bernard's, who I think we agreed on this panel that they're probably one of the picking sides to have right up there in contention this year, but Collegians winning 3 in a row now.
Yeah, a slow start to the year. They do sometimes start the season slowly. I think down there they understand, given their recent record and of playing in grand finals, that you work your way into the year and you win games when you need to and keep on winning as they did last year.
But does that fly in the face of almost convention? You get away to a fast start, get 3 to 4 wins on the board, then you can sit back because those teams that don't get away with a fast start, they're always playing catch up. So it almost contravenes.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, as long as you keep winning. I mean, you would obviously prefer to win every week. Yeah. in reality, that's not going to happen. And I suppose every team, when we come into round 1, that every team and every club is at a different stage in terms of being able to get its best 18 on the park, and then of course there are the relative strengths between the squads, and it takes a while to sort out and for the cream to emerge. And Collegians, they lost 3, no biggie. They'd much rather win, of course, but it's not the end of the penny section. And when you think they're a long way out, all of a sudden 2 weeks later, the competition's tightened up and they're right back in it.
They're right in the mix. Now, we've spoken about Collegians' forward structure, and Taff's still missing, of course, after that injury a couple of weeks ago. But Will Tardif going forward, I like this, Marty, seeing who's a renowned defender just bob up forward for a few goals.
But there's also what they also give then is that added bonus that they work that much harder to keep the ball in the forward area, create pressure. Defenders don't like that. And very sure hands too with the footy, as we saw it kick 2 in a minute. But one was a terrific mark from allegedly, admittedly behind, but took the mark, goes back, kicks a goal. Terrific.
Could be a masterstroke born out of opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
With half going out, they have to find other options going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brenton, you had a look at Blacks and Beau Morris. Blacks are building. They've won 2 in a row now. Bowie continue to be competitive, but keep getting rolled at this stage.
Yeah, Blacks are certainly building. I was really impressed. They had great numbers around the contest, and you can see what they're trying to do. I think maybe we could have been a bit harsh on them, maybe early under that new coach. Maybe it's taken a while for his game plan to really set in. But what I was really impressed was their ability to launch their attacking change from defensive 50. They were really able to control the ball, run and spread, and then capitalise going forward.
So then that goes back to the point about Will Tardif going to Collegians' forward line, creates added pressure around, so that stops then teams being able to set up out back and slingshot the ball up the other end of the ground.
But Morris certainly not out of the running at this stage yet, just because they haven't been blown away. They're not that. They're in games all the time, but they just haven't been able to put the score on the board.
They can't land that killer blow. They missed opportunities going forward on the weekend, and one player that I was disappointed was Raf Clark. He looked lazy, had little impact, and he's got a lift.
Yeah, look, I think Beau Morris has some talent on the park, but they are struggling to get it together for 4 quarters, and clearly they did very well against Old Scotch in knocking them over at Camberwell, but they'll be looking forward to going home, I think.
Another side struggling at the moment to put it together for 4 quarters is De La Salle. Went down to a very impressive Old Trinity. We mentioned last week that possibly they might go 2 losses in a row, but Trinity came to play.
They did. I'm rapidly losing faith in Fitz after he said last week, so I was going to lose 2 in a row. You've let me down badly. But that said, Trinity, look, you're right. Their running power is back. We know they're a tremendously fit side, and we could see from the vision that when they do break, everybody breaks, similar to Blacks, set it up, plenty of willing runners, hands out to the side to players coming from behind, run, everybody's looking to get involved. And it was interesting just seeing and listening to the game, seeing the difference in the volume. Just when they have the ball, enthusiasm in the voice, run together in numbers, plenty of encouragement, plenty of support around each other. Conversely, DLR, just not the same level of enthusiasm and not the same effective use of the footy. I mean, they turned it over time and again.
That's the modern game. It's built around turnovers. You've got to minimise your own.
Well, we're good at it.
And you want to force the opposition turnovers. Then when you do force them, capitalise going forward.
Which they did.
Yeah. Have we seen the goal of the year already for this one from Alex Polidorus, who gathers the football on the wing, runs past his man, breaks a tackle, then slots the goal from 55?
Look, it looked terrific play. Whether it's goal of the year, I don't know. I mean, there was a bit of hyperbole on the...
John Caddis on Inter FM said it's the goal of the decade. Not sure about that one.
He obviously doesn't go out very often.
Well, look, it was a pretty spectacular goal, let's face it, using all the skills.
And
running, bouncing, breaking a tackle,
and kicking.
running a bloke over like Jonah Loma when he's days of yore.
Yeah,
then kicking a long bomb.
It was a terrific kick too, going up the hill at Dairy Bell. So, no, it was a great goal. That remains to be seen because, look, the game does throw up some outrageous skills on occasions. However, at this stage, it's leading.
Old Scotch and Old Kerry was a war of attrition at Camberwell. Old Kerry eventually getting the points. Scotch had their chances in the early stages of the fourth quarter. They kicked 4 consecutive behinds and a goal there to close the gap. But Old Kerry managing to bridge it in the end and continue on their winning ways. And they've moved up to second on the ladder. A couple of reports late in this game, so both sides with a man down on the bench each, and also a couple of reports in the last quarter. It was 17 men with just 2 on the bench for both clubs, so absolutely physical battle that Carey came out on top in.
Well, they don't like each other, these sides today, and it's no surprise to me that it was a fairly tough sort of game. And the result really wasn't a surprise to me either, having seen Carey the previous week. They were spectacular and fantastic, and their key forwards, I see Evans again kicked 5, and Reid, I understand, had half a dozen shots for goal himself. So clearly they played a big role in the Carey win as they had the previous week.
Lockie McQueen-Campbell played his 150th game for the club. It's his last game for the club next week before he goes overseas for the rest of the year on an internship or a veterinary position in the US. So they lose him. How big of a loss is he going to be for their chances later on this year?
Well, I would have thought a massive loss. He's a terrific fellow, Lockie, and a very good player. And there's no doubt that Carey is a better team with him on board. However, they seem to have found some other defenders this year that are doing the job, and the coach will work out a way, no doubt, to replace those that he has to replace.
Is their bottom 6 a lot better this year?
I think we've established that now. It's their depth. They run a lot deeper than we thought.
They do. I'd just like to highlight about their kicking. I think that at the elite level in the AFL, we've all marvelled at Hawthorn's ability to kick, put the ball into space, and put it into the hands of their teammates. I think we can see that with the modern game, where we're mirroring what's happening at the top tier, that the kicking is becoming increasingly important. And Carey kicked the ball well to 2 strong forwards, and that's the other thing too. They've got two guys who can mark it. Both can work really well. Lovely set of hands, and their kicking is terrific. I think that's a difference too.
Yep. Zab's up and down form continued. I guess they were up this week, and certainly their intensity was up in the opening term when they kicked 4 goals 9, I think, for the term, Fitzy.
Yeah, well, speaking as a partisan, I wasn't disappointed with the 4 goals 9. I thought the shots were rather difficult, and they might have kicked maybe 6, and another couple. But from then on, the shots actually got easier, but the kicking got worse. And
we continue to highlight that
every week.
Most of it was material delivered from set shots and very gettable set shots. And really, they, as you pointed out, I think on the website, Andrew, they didn't win by 3 goals; they won by 18 points.
Yeah.
And conversely, Blues made the most of their opportunities. Only had 12 shots all afternoon, and kicked 10 of them. So that kept the game in the balance really after a poor second quarter from Zavs. It kept the game. Zavs got on top in the third. Blues started to come back on the last and got down to 11 points midway through the term, but that was all she wrote.
Now, after a flying start, where do Blues sit, do you think?
Well, they're beating the bottom three sides on the Premier ladder. That's where they sit. I think they're the Collingwood of the VAFA.
They're going to need a very good second, third.
Only beating the bottom sides at this stage.
Look, on Saturday, I mean, once again, you've got to have a look at the lineups that play, and yes, every team is missing players.
I was going to ask you then, Fitz, how many changes this week for Zavs? Given that 7 names came out the previous week when Zavs played Old Carey, which significantly debilitates any team.
Yeah.
Any of those names come back in?
There were 3 changes to Zav's team on Saturday.
Right.
One who had been missing the previous week came back.
Yep.
Can't quite recall offhand, but it was certainly
So a much more settled team certainly helps.
Well, you'd think so, but conversely, Blues lost. They didn't have Summers, they didn't have Ross Young, who dropped out late, and Cam Williams played at Richmond, their number 1 ruckman, and so they were down. And I heard Blues people telling me they had maybe 9 out. Some of those won't be back all year because they're badly injured.
What it's showing is in William Buck Premier that if you've got your best 2 or 3 out, any side is capable of going up and beating them, just because you need that depth to go all the way through with your best 3. That brings in 3 at the other end of the ladder of the 22, and that is exposed by teams on the day.
Well, dare I say it, you can afford to lose back pockets.
Nothing wrong with back pockets.
I agree, but they're generally like you and
yes,
I, mate.
That's very true.
So, but you can't afford to lose. You can't afford to lose your top 6.
That's right.
Because any of those players go, and we've seen that now with Blues. So they lose Young, Summers, and Williams. So there's 3 out of their top 6, top 8. That's a big ask to cover. Ruckman don't grow on trees. Apart from at certain old boys' colleges where they just seem to have hundreds of them.
And it certainly don't grow down. They certainly don't grow down at the Dairy Bell. In Premier V, St Kevin's kept on their winning ways with a big win over Ajax. They're flying along beautifully, but the surprise result there, Brenton, was what?
It's Parkdale Vultures over Old Brighton.
It was indeed. It was an amazing result for Parkdale Vultures and probably one of their best wins since they've come up to Premier B.
Well, I think that gives them a bit of faith and a bit of encouragement that they can compete at the level. But then it also reinforces your point from last week. Amateur sides tend to lose in twos.
I think we look at perhaps not so much in B grade, but certainly in William Buck Premier, that there's at the moment, no side should be feared and no side should be taken lightly. So whoever you're playing this week, you've got a chance of winning.
I think converse to that, I think, is once you go down into some of the lower sections, there is a bit of a gap between the top halves and the bottom halves of the ladders opening up in all grades. If you have a look at the way the ladders are and the way the results went on the weekend, Division 1, just disastrous results for most sides, except I think St Mary's Salesian Prayer and Assumption was the closest at 10 points. Everything else was almost 15 goals, I think, the difference.
Yeah. This is when sides really start to drop off. We're getting to the second third of the season. Where there's a bit nicer in the first third, getting the second, third players start to drop off, and especially in Div 1, it pulls apart.
Second trimester's supposed to be the best, apparently.
I'm the wrong gender. Thank you.
Let's move into good day, bad day.
'Cause you had a bad day.
You had a good day on the weekend, Marty.
Well, I gave them the bad day last week, so I'm going to say Old Zabs had a good day. I bounced back from last week, got themselves back on track, played well, terrific outcome for them. Well done.
And a bad day?
The boys from Dairy Bell, D-Lar, 1 win from 6, and really need to regroup, need to refocus, need to find where the next win's coming from. And it doesn't get any easier. Uni Blacks this week, at home. In fact, D-Lar haven't won at home this year.
Yeah, not winning home games really hurts you.
That does it.
Fitzy, who are your good days and bad days?
Good day. VAFA amateur footballer scribe Rich Hummerston dominating down there in Div 4 reserves for the Canterbury Cobras. 8 goals. I think biggest haul of his career. Magnificent performance, Rich. Go get him, son.
From the Hummer, well done.
And a bad day. Bulleen Templestowe down to Old Geelong by 172 points. There's a margin.
There's plenty of places to hide on Como Park, though. It's a massive ground.
Brenton, who is your good day and bad day?
Good day for me with the developing Parkdale Vultures over Old Brighton. And bad day, Scott Sherwin from Old Scotch. Unfortunately, seeing in the vision here, just trips going into the contest, heel flicks up and he gets knocked out cold.
Yeah, ended his day.
And then to top it off, Lockie then decides, not only have I got you on the way down, I'll actually then get you and I'll sit on top of you.
Not a good day for Scott. No, not at all.
Not a good day for Scotty Sherwin. We send our regards, hope he's on the improve. Good day for me. I think, no doubt, Marsland, they're flying along beautifully. When they're beating Therry Penola, who was such a fantastic side for the past 2 seasons, by 155 points. Everything seems to be going well there at the college on Bulleen Road. It's something about Bulleen Road playing fields at the moment. The two sides in William Buck Premier are on top of the ladder, and Marsland going beautifully with 155.
Water down there.
Well, we will check the water.
Check the water. Get a SADA down to Bulleen Road, perhaps. Bad day. Now, have a look at this bit of vision. Caden Beethan getting told to stand up here by Jack Watts as the umpire balls up. He's just down the ground here, injured. And if we wind back the tape and have a bit of a look at this particular reason why he might be sitting on the ground, oh, Jack Watts has just stepped on his foot there. So, a bit of a bad day for Caden Beethan. Not only is he being bemoaned to stand up and get on with the game, he also just had his ankle trod on.
Well, then it could be a good day for Jack Watts that he was able to go to the next contest.
Well, exactly right. It's time now. Fitzy fires on 5.
Number 4. Not since this has it been trendier to be of Greek heritage. Yes, not since then have Greeks made such beautiful music. The Greek economy might be down the gurgler, but VAFA best player lists are rich these days with Greek names. Polydorus, Dimokopoulos, Simeopoulos, Spasopoulos, Papatsianos, and the Hellenic Special Ks, Kondorovskis, Carousis, Kanakis, Karagiorgio and Karianis. And the way they're playing, it's no wonder. It seems a long time ago now that the greying mantis John Canis and his uncle Georgi Voyagi were the biggest Greek names in amateur football. Number 3, where have all the goal sneaks gone? After 6 rounds in favourable conditions, records at Cliff Bastow House indicate that just one senior player has kicked 30 goals, averaging 5 a game, and that player is St John's Aaron Thornton. The former wicker toured Ireland in 2013 and with the shot heard around the world scored a rare 3-point over against the Irish national team. But even this great man already looks like a falling shy of the magical ton. Bradley Courts, the North Brunswick star who booted 17 in the Rezzies in round 5, backed it up with 7 of his team's 10 goals in round 6. The Supreme Courts leads all VAFA sharpshooters with 37 from 5 outings, but still can't get a game in the ones. Number 2. Last weekend, we again had Umpire Appreciation Day, which I thought was our men in Lime's big thank you to Treasurer Joe Hockey for keeping their match payments tax-free. But no, it wasn't that. It was just our turn to appreciate the umps, again. We certainly don't want our men in Lime going the way of our boot stewards and tram conductors who slipped into history purely because no one proclaimed days in their honour. The pleasing part was that the umpires I saw did a very good job, so I gleefully look forward to Interchange Steward Veneration Week, and especially that guy who hands out the snakes at 3/4 time gratitude round. And number 1, last week I copped some criticism for drawing attention to the recent history of the Sinners.
Please don't pick on the sinners. Please leave Chatty alone. No!
Sadly, their on-field response was business as usual, with records here at Cliff Bastow House indicating both reserves and seniors played short, despite some players featuring in 2 games. And again, both seniors and reserves were hammered. If there has been a cry for help, that tally-ho has certainly not been loud enough. There are clubs in Ammo Nation with plenty of players who can't get a game, but the Sinners appear too busy feeling sorry for themselves, or else don't give a damn. And don't blame me, I just call it as if I see it.
Fitzy firing on 5. Beautifully done there, Fitz. It's become a favourite. More and more people tuning into Fitzy Fires on 5 every week, as they are for Marty's Wine of the Week.
Thank you, Andrew. As we approach the cooler months, although despite last weekend's weather, which was beautiful, as we approach the cooler months, we should be looking towards drinking reds. And at your lunches every week, you should be looking at something like these soft, gentle tannins, the rounded, soft fruit flavours of a 94 point in the James Halliday 2015 Wine Guide, Four Sisters Merlot. At $9.50 for your club to purchase, this is a wonderful wine to have at lunch when you're celebrating your past premierships, when you're celebrating your life members, when you're celebrating and welcoming down the local councillors to come down and get some new club rooms built. However, we also have a wine that accompanies that which will only be soothed by a glass of the lovely soft Merlot. Ugly packs and minor mellows. Third man in. Who says that that's brave? That's not part of the football that I want to go and see. I don't really want to see, and we see this in the vision from St Bernard's and Collegians on the weekend. 1 in, 2 in, 3 in. It's like a sandpit at the local kindergarten. 7, 8, 10, 12 players all pushing and shoving. What's going on, gents? There's a game of football, or did someone throw the football into your fight? Why not just go and get the footy, boys? The AFL game, the professional game, is blighted by ugly packs. So we need to actually get rid of it. Don't bring it into our game. Let's just go and keep the footy flowing. And that's it, Andrew, for this week.
Beautifully done, Marty. Fitzy, well done for your 5. Brenton, great to see you. How's St John's going? Well?
6-0, we're fine.
Going beautifully. We'll see you all again next week on VAFA Tragics. Catch you then.
This boy takes one bounce, chases second, now he goes long. Alex Polidorus to the city end, to the city end. Polidorus keeps his second and Old Trinity on fire. 4 goals, 125, D-Line 128. John Kennis, that's a goal.
That's goal of the decade, that one.
VAFA TV at vafatv.com.